me.
I don't want to set the world on fire.
Welcome again, everyone, to the next episode of the Foally of Man. I'm Chris, with me here today,
Robert.
and we're going to be looking at Chapter 25, Generous Souls.
Ooh, can I read it this time?
Do it.
All
Do
right.
it.
We stand at the dawn of a golden age. Where other merely survive, we thrive. And while I have led your efforts, it has been by your own strength. Because yes, freedom is what we all work towards.
I'm not even going to try to figure out who said that.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to attempt.
I don't know.
I want to say it's from the pit, but I could probably be very, very wrong.
Now, this typo here, was that your typo or is that typo from the text? Just curious.
Mine.
Okay, all right, just making sure, because I know there are some typos in the text.
No, a little bit.
And you know me, I'm such...
Kat said that she had two editors at
Right.
this point, so I would hope that both of them would catch that.
I'm such an insufferable smartass, though. Like, from the way our questions, when anybody writes a question, I have to read it word for word.
Oh, yeah, no, I did copy-paste those, so feel free to insult them.
Okay, yeah, no, that's great. The funny thing is that I spent so much time reading, like, ad copy and reading stuff for, like, radio and TV and things. Like, you get used to reading it as it is written.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if there's a mistake. You assume the mistake is purposeful.
Yeah.
And so you read it that way.
Because otherwise, you'll have to go back on yourself and say, like, oh, no, that was actually written correctly.
Well, it's really funny to watch, so when you have ad copy or a script, and to see someone's name not written correctly, but written phonetically, so that when you read it, it rolls off the tongue naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So... Anyways,
it's
curious stuff. So, chapter 25, getting into it this week. There's a lot to cover. This is man, I thought there were long chapters before. I was wrong.
It only becomes a marathon from here.
Yeah, this is hands down the longest chapter thus far. I know the audio was almost 2 hours just to listen to, and a lot covered. So, essentially, in summary, little Pip goes into Fillydelphia.
Yeah, as a slave.
As a slave.
To experience, what it's like to be one of the downtrodden, one of the unfortunate. This has been understood beforehand. I'm sure we discussed this a little bit. This is what many would actually consider a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
This is the worst
Why
idea.
was this the plan?
I really hate to think of Plan B.
Yeah, oh my God! What is Plan B? You trigger an explosive next to Red Eye?
Plan B, we shoot everyone.
All right, step 1: destroy the police.
So we start out with her pretty much just getting dressed up like a slave.
Yep.
Put into manacles.
And not a fun kitschy slave like Slave Leia from Star Wars, like an actual rags. Beaten, laying down in hay that's full of yeah. Oh God! What was the name of Jabba's sidekick?
Oh boy, yeah, no,
the little guy. I was in the Think Geek store yesterday, and he has got a great name. Why can't I remember it?
I can't remember because it's so innocuous. You wouldn't expect.
No,
it.
You'd never know it unless you looked at the
unless
credits.
you actually knew it was him. It's like, wait, they bothered giving him that name?
Oh, jeez. I know.
But anyway.
Salacious Crumb or
Salacious? Yeah, Salacious Crumb.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like, who came up? Oh, that's right, George Lucas.
George Lucas.
Kit Fisto.
Oh, Kit Fisto. Oh, God.
Anyway,
wait. What is it? Roses are red, but violets are twisted.
Bend over your courier. No, assume the position you're about to get fisted.
Fisted, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Okay.
Thank God that hasn't shown up in the story.
Oh, well, I mean, okay, so she also thinks about, what life was like. She has this
right. So she's going in alone. She's going in completely alone. She has zero support.
She's like, well, I remember what it was like before I came out here.
My mother was fine, benign, but it was basically like being alone when I was with her anyways.
Yeah, her mother's greatest love is that of, inebriation.
Also, I love your note here because I was going to talk about it anyways, but I just have to read it out here. Slavers like rape? Who knew?
I try to put little jokes in the show notes.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well,
For
it's
instance,
like last week. It's like last week with buying the farm. It's like, yeah, no, really, she bought the farm.
Yeah.
But yeah, shocking, right? that the scum, the pony scum of this earth would, be into some non-consensual sexual fornication.
It's
Or
not
I guess,
like they're not.
is there any such thing as fornication that isn't sexual? Maybe artificial implantation
Well,
is non-sexual
like there's the kind of
fornication.
fornication where you pretty much just tip your trilby and go, "Milady,
Actually.
yeah, that kind of fornication.
Oh, God.
The term jerking yourself off without the actual masturbation going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if you're wondering, we have a fly in the room right now, and that's the reason both of us seem to be going into a stroke at any time.
I believe technically it is a gnat. Actually, what was more distracting to me is that I just saw a hummingbird fly outside, which I hardly ever see hummingbirds. I know it's insanely off topic, but it
So yeah, if we start doing this,
yeah,
like I said, we're not stroking out. You're fine.
Yeah, we're good. I mean, we might stroke out. You and
No
I both
guarantee.
we both have health issues, different health issues, but you never know.
No.
That's what makes this exciting.
Okay, let's see.
You know what's even funnier is that it's not live. I mean, maybe we'll do live, but this isn't live. So,
Yeah.
like, if we publish an episode where we're having a stroke,
It's like that we totally don't know that you're picking your nose right now, John.
oh boy.
I really hope somebody out
Well,
there name is John.
the law of averages. Actually, if you really wanted to play the law of averages, what are the most common names in the world? John's pretty common amongst, Western Caucasian people, but the most popular names in the world are actually Muhammad, number one, and Jesus is high up there as well.
I mean, the pronunciation would change, though, depending on where you're from. So
It's predominant. Well, obviously, it's Jesus.
Yeah,
It's generally.
But there are people who are named Jesus.
Middle
I mean,
American, South
Okay,
American.
we're so off the
Lost
rails right
in
now.
the
I don't even
reeds.
think we know that we're on a train anymore.
But anyway, so the slavers don't rape little Pip because she's infested with hay mites.
Yeah, because she's slept in the hay.
Laid in moldy hay. Also, I think it's interesting that she's not able to bring anything in. Like she couldn't bring in a screwdriver. There's nowhere to put it, but she did hide bobby pins on her person. In her, I thought she said she wrapped them in her bandages.
Oh, that's
specifically.
True.
Yeah, she didn't.
I was thinking tail because it's
Yeah.
it's a thing where ponies will hide things in their tail.
Yeah. I'm also thinking. So she also hid her Pip buck.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
But not very well.
No, not very well. I mean, eventually they figured out, and we learned more about that. So basically, it's a horrifying shithole.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you expect? It's hell on earth, run by a dictator.
Hell is other ponies.
Although it's not Red Eye's capital, it's just the capital of his industry.
Yeah.
Like he travels to visit there, but him being there is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. He has a home that he goes and visits because he doesn't want to look down on the peasants.
And there's speakers everywhere just blasting propaganda and music and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right, and then we meet Stern.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I don't know why she's named that because she seems like just the nicest person.
so generous.
Yeah.
Free spirit.
Yeah, just I guess gives all of her ammunition away
Like
to
any
anyone
good-
who asks.
Like any good nickname, it's ironic. Like we used to call you Muscles.
Yeah, or
so.
you tiny.
Of course, there's Big Bobby and Little Bobby, although those were fairly accurate.
That was Fire Bobby.
That's right. And then there's a BTB.
Oh yeah,
So,
good old Luke.
yeah.
Anyway,
All right, moving on. Oh boy, the Fillydelphia Fun Farm. Not so fun.
no,
Not really fun at all.
no. I would say it's quite the opposite.
I mean, and I understand the term of farm,
Mm-hmm.
being specifically that they're, ponies.
Yeah.
But it also plays a little bit into Animal Farm if you think about it.
Mm-hmm. However, Red Eye is not a pig, so
Yeah. They
more
do
communism references.
they do. Oh yeah. Well, no, specifically Marxism references
Okay.
or Stalinism. But anyways,
that.
there are options. As a slave, slaves have options. Apparently, you have paths to your freedom.
You can jump off. You can take the bullet, or we can just beat you to death.
No. You could go into the radioactive crater and collect radioactive material,
Mhm.
and if you did that for 6 months, you'd be granted your freedom. But wait, there's more. For one time only, Red Eye is now allowing you to have freedom after 4 months of labor.
That's amazing.
Never mind that you
Generous
die probably after 3.
Yeah, I don't imagine you lasting very many weeks there.
Yeah, well, and of course they have the promise, we'll treat you with Radaway and then give you your freedom. And it's like, bullshit.
Yeah, if you make it that far.
The other option is to go to the pit,
The pit.
which of course came from the DLC from Fallout 3.
This is when she actually tells us, no, this comes from some ancient Roman, you know. I'd be like, God damn it.
Why can't we ever be right?
It's my entire life. I'm always wrong at everything.
Aww.
And wait, I'm going to be told I'm wrong about the pity party. Pity party.
Aw, this is the world's smallest violin that a pony couldn't actually
Hold on,
play.
let me scream out at the top of my lungs
actually,
in rage.
I suppose the only pony that could technically play a violin would be a unicorn pony.
Nope.
Why not?
Because there are earth ponies that play violins.
But they don't have hands. Is this the weird thing where they use hooves like hands?
Kind of.
God damn it. No, no, that is not how that works.
I'm going with the canon from the show
That
here.
is not... I'm drawing the line.
Before anyone says anything, I know you're thinking of Octavia, but Octavia had that weird alter ego version from the Halloween episode where she played I actually think it was a viola or a fiddle, and she was dressed up like a scarecrow. So no, I'm talking about that.
Okay, so enough about
imagine a pony playing a piano.
All right, so where were we?
We were after
the pit. The pit. So the pit is essentially a place where you go to fight for your freedom. Win 6 battles and you get your freedom. Sort of, because then they recruit you into their military. And so you're not a slave, you're just a soldier, which is essentially a form of slave.
Yes, conscription actually is slavery.
Yeah.
In at least used in the traditional sense.
So, anyways, we're going to skip ahead a little bit since there's a lot covered here. But essentially, little Pip makes herself valuable or known, or her skills are observed, and so she gets, voluntold.
I put it down there. It's voluntold.
Voluntold to clear out what are the things that she's told to clear out?
Irradiated parasprites.
Parasprites. So what is a parasprite?
A parasprite is effectively it's originally a herbivorous piranha. It's just hyperbreeding. It's just effectively a swarm creature.
A parasprite sounds like a pair of Michael Jackson's shoes from the 80s, before the pedophilia and such.
Petasprite.
Oh, boy.
Okay, we're going there. No.
New from Coca-Cola. Petasprite.
Oh my gosh, we're getting so off the rails on this. It's not even funny. I'm very sorry.
Come on, it's all right.
Okay, so the parasprites. Now, what they've done is because of the lack of food, they have gone into.
They're carnivorous.
Well, they're omnivorous, so they'll eat anything.
Yeah.
But that would include ponies.
Yeah.
When initially they were just herbivorous.
It's funny. I was reminded earlier this week, back when I used to work with horses. So funny that everything would come around to this point. Horses in the wild, when they need extra calcium, extra protein, iron in their system, they will actually eat small mammals.
Yeah.
Or birds, small birds. But it's a taboo in this story for the herbivorous ponies to eat like rabbit and stuff.
Because, well, think of it as a societal thing. They always had the ability to, but they only did it in times of great need. So if you were a cultured pony, if you were a pony that was actually brought up in a society where you never had to go without, you would do it.
Please tell me there's not a white horseshoe society in this.
No. No white horseshoe society. But from the perspective of someone who had been with, the only ponies who would actually have to resort to any type of carnivorous activity would be the ones who were extremely downtrodden.
Right.
Trotten.
I think it's interesting. There are examples. I don't know why I'd ever forgotten, but Velvet Remedy being so surprised at it, there are examples in nature of it happening. It is possible.
Most animals.
Obviously, their system doesn't break down the material very well.
I shouldn't say most, but there are a lot of animals which are omnivorous who you would not think of as, like wolves. Wolves are omnivorous. They can sustain off of berries and things like that.
Right. Okay. I was going to say they certainly don't eat grass and leaves.
No. But they do eat vegetation as well as meat. The only creature that I can think of off the top of my head that can only exclusively eat meat is cats.
Yeah.
Because you can't feed cats fruits or berries.
And yet we wonder why, domesticated cats have health problems when we feed them predominantly grain.
Anyway, going back, rolling this back because I guess this is going to be
so she clears out a bunch of stuff in the building. She finds a screwdriver.
Yep.
What else? Oh, she takes off her shackles.
Yep.
Let's see here. What else happens in the building?
She gets really frustrated.
Oh, yeah, and she also finds Mentats
Mm-hmm.
and has to leave them there.
And
even though the allure is so intense.
Yeah. Put it down, Pip. Put it down. Bad Pip. Bad Pip. But there's also...
I picked the wrong day to stop huffing Mentats.
She also finds a computer with some logs inside of it.
Right. Well, and her whole thing is like, what the hell is... What's this doing here?
And she's like, this is a ministry hub. There's a ministry hub. It's a printing press.
It's a printing press.
It's a printing press is what it is. And then you realize, oh, it's the Ministry of Image, which you could also say, the MOI, the Ministry of Information.
We keep having little bits of information revealed that make rarity less and less appealing. Her charisma makes up for a lot of icky behavior.
Yeah. So,
but let's think about the most charismatic people we know. They have a lot of icky behaviors.
I can stop there.
Okay. I don't know if charisma is the first word that comes to mind for that individual.
No, not really. But I mean, as far as it goes, that's what he led through.
I know
his charisma, his speeches, and everything else. There you go. So we've already likened Red Eye to Stalin.
I was going to say we should catch people
Hitler.
up. Yeah, I was just going to say most people don't necessarily recognize that anthem. Some might. Anybody who's watched an Indiana Jones movie would recognize the little.
Anyone who
anthem
knows anything, who's actually done research on Nazis would know. And then we have to wait for him to put his fingers together up like this and start talking about the rights.
Oh, good old Mussolini.
Yes.
See.
Yes. So yeah, no, we're just gonna go after every single dictator we know. Come on. We can do this. Okay, so she gets out of the building after taking out all the pair sprites and catching all the rest. And she was going to feel happy about doing that and being nice for everybody. And she realized, wait, what the fuck am I doing? No, I hate this place. I hate all of you.
Yeah, I was forced to do this. Why am I helping these bad ponies?
Why do I feel good about doing this job?
We should also probably touch on the Raider ponies have some really fucked up cutie marks.
Yeah.
Really fucked up cutie marks,
which is actually interesting. I think I'm not gonna say K-Cat was the first at all. That's not even close to right. But this was something that was touched on by a lot of people before the show decided to actually start questioning what the hell is a cutie mark. And so it kind of comes up in this story: is a cutie mark predetermined, or is it something that's gained through?
Is it earned?
Natural, affinity for something. So,
oh god,
very clearly, you don't see the ponies in the show.
What if you were a young colt and you masturbated all the time? What if it was affected by something you did a lot?
Oh boy. What would a neat cutie mark be? That's a weird one.
You know the 4chan Trilby Milady? That would be an interesting cutie mark. Yeah.
Oh boy. No, but but no, I mean, what you don't see any ponies in the show that have bloody chainsaws for cutie marks. So
not
why does
yet.
it happen here?
Oh man, that's what My Little Pony gets. My Little Pony After Dark.
That probably already exists.
Yeah, but it's not, canon.
Yes, true.
Yet,
it's not canon.
although I say it's not canon yet.
God knows what they'll do.
Because I from what you've told me, it sounds like that the creators of the My Little Pony cartoon, basically all they do is they just troll My Little Pony boards for new ideas.
I'm not going to say that's true. I'm going to say it's not true. Because
you
a lot of people,
conscientious objector to the statement?
No, because a lot of the people who were there originally, Lauren Faust, M.A. Larson, they have left. And
aren't you supposed to say praise be unto them after you say their names?
You don't know
I mean,
how
this
much
is
I
effectively
dislike,
a religion, right?
You do not know how much I dislike M.A. Larson.
Does MLP have a 501c status?
There is actually an organization that is Brony run that does.
Interesting.
Yes.
Brony's for Ponies, where you raise money for shoes for downtrodden ponies, right?
Not quite. They raised, I think the total they raised like $300,000.
You should have an event at a Shoney's. Then you could say Brony's for Shoney's and My Little Ponies.
Oh God!
Actually, some of our audience is international, so they may have no idea what a Shoney's is. Shoney's is an Americana style restaurant.
It's a buffet.
Well, they have a buffet, but that's not necessarily. It's not a buffet.
Yeah, I know. They have a buffet. It is an Americana style restaurant. They have a big bear that's got a smiley face as their
It's kind of dopey looking. Actually, he kind of looks like the guy from the Smack'ems cereal box.
Yes. He also looks like the. He also reminds me of.
I just realized the furry community is probably really big into the Shoney's bear.
They're big into him.
Yif for me, daddy.
Oh, God.
Like Tony the Tiger's
There's
Twitter.
your next Twitter target. There's your next Twitter target.
So actually, I was adding some pony friends on Twitter as of late, and then I realized a couple of them, I was like, oh, they look pretty normal, and then they started posting some other things, and I'm like, okay, nope, not friends anymore. I do not want that in my feed. One of them actually was very nice, though. They have a main normal Twitter where they do like normal art, and then they do some other art, and then there's like their after hours.
Who was that? Do you know?
Shoot, I don't remember. Well, I don't want to blow anybody up, but I mean, they had a nice Twitter. They were good people, but like they had 3, and one was like,
oh yeah, now you'll see a lot. There's a lot of artists that have alternate accounts,
an NSFW version.
Yeah, an alternate account,
which is fine. So that's totally fine. But like, I don't necessarily want to follow the ones that are just hardcore shit. You know, what I mean?
All the time, all the damn time.
You're like, man, I did not think I ever needed to see a pony that gaped, but you know what?
I don't want to talk to you about the things that I've seen.
You know what?
We're not going to talk about the
Chris,
things that exist out there. We're going to continue on with the story.
We're way off topic, but you know what the thing is? I don't think people watch. If people wanted to watch to just get a synopsis of the book, they'd read a fucking synopsis of the book.
Oh, God. They want to know your opinion on it. They want to know your opinion as somebody who is from the outside.
Are you saying I'm a star? You like me. You really, really like me.
What has become of my life?
I don't know. Come on, we're having fun. This is the tiniest little rosary in the world.
And give it back to Catholic Bloom for a second.
Oh, whoops.
Okay, so after she gets back from the building, she has to go, and she's going back to where they have designated her home to be.
Yeah.
Which is
calling it a home is generous.
I'm gonna have to go with a common name.
Doesn't she say that the smell of the bed is like you can tell all of the ponies who are probably dead who've shared this awful mattress with me? It's not even a mattress; it's like a bedroll, right?
Yes, it's like the cloth of coitus.
And it essentially,
Okay. Anyway, so she meets some.
It's like the Turin shroud, but instead of blood, it's semen.
Let's see. She sees Red Eye.
Oh yeah. Well, and the bum big reveal is the motherfucker's got cyber implants,
and he's an Earth pony.
Well, I mean that's not totally surprising.
Yeah.
I mean he's of the ponies, for the ponies, by the ponies. It would make sense that he'd be an Earth pony.
Filthy mud ponies.
God damn it, Draco Malfoy. You're just a filthy little mud pony. Oh God. That I just realized there has to be a My Little Pony Harry Potter crossover somewhere.
My Immortal with Ponies. Make it so, Internet. I can believe in you. I believe in you. You can do this.
Well, we already know there's a Doctor Who My Little Pony crossover. It's canon.
Yep.
Speaking of canon things in My Little Pony, I was actually watching The Big Lebowski last night.
Yep.
And I remembered that scene that you had texted me once of...
What's the thing, man, you keep saying?
Of the dude, yeah. Hey, man.
Yeah. I thought it was really, really well done.
It really ties the room together. All right. That's enough. All right, we got to get back on. Oh, so Red Eye. Yeah, so he's a cyborg and a stable dweller.
Yep, he's from a stable. Do you know which stable he's from?
2?
Nope.
No.
She's from 2. Little Pip is from 2.
Oh, she's from 2.
He is from stable 101. Now you have to show them what's on the back of your suit.
Actually, I think I have it. Is it here? Yeah.
On the lapel.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
why not?
Along.
Why not? Yeah. A member of can you see it in the picture?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, bummer.
Okay, so
what you're saying is that I'm complicit?
You
or
are.
That I'm a cyborg? But one of the interesting thing, so the Red Eye in classic villain fashion basically tells Little Pip, everything.
Well, no, I think this is after, right? Because he's talking about this is when he's on the balcony, and he's preaching out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's
That's
talking
right.
about.
Well, but even not directly to Little Pip. This is just what he's saying. That's
Yeah.
the villains can't help it. They have to share.
And monologue.
But
They love a good You can tell a good villain because he loves a good monologue.
Right. So the origins of his story, or rather of his stable, were to find out what something run by Earth ponies would look like with their industriousness.
Yeah.
With access to technology.
Yeah. Also known as awful.
Yeah. So he, of course, is flanked by alicorns. Oh, and we've totally missed over this. We are introduced to this character referred to as the goddess, but clearly it's not the goddesses that we've been introduced to.
No.
So clearly it's somebody else that we're going to find out about, but the goddess is who is creating the alicorns.
And monitoring and managing them, yeah.
And because the alicorns their alicorns are created from normal ponies, and they clearly have no memory of who they were beforehand. So essentially they're wiped away like a blank slate and turned into these monsters, which is a little bit different from the FEV virus. Because that's the virus for the super mutants, right?
Yeah.
It's different because the super mutants oftentimes do retain memories of who they were before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously they don't. It doesn't prevent them from doing awful things, but they have personality that exists from the time.
Yeah,
before.
yeah, they do have independence and personality as individuals.
Yeah,
the alicorns are a hive mind.
Interesting. I didn't pick up on that.
I thought that was explained. Oh well.
Oh right. Well, they do speak
Yeah.
to each other telepathically, but I didn't pick up that they were a hive mind, like they all made decisions as a collective.
Well,
Because
I mean,
then that means any alicorn would know who Little Pip is.
That's what they say in the story.
I thought Little Pip was saying that
The alicorn saw her.
There were some alicorns that were some similar ones that had gotten away.
No, the alicorn saw her. Remember, the alicorn remembers how it died.
Huh.
If it remembers how it died, it's because it shares its knowledge with the others live.
Oh, that's right. Well, when they are fighting
Yeah,
later.
yeah. This was explained. I'm not ruining anything.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Oh, let's talk a little bit about Little Pip meeting the Colts and Phillies.
Well, no, hold on. That's later.
What am I? Okay, well, then tell me what you want to talk about. I clearly didn't find it interesting enough to talk about something in between. I was just moving on to the next thing.
You're right. Never mind. I'm getting things out of order is what I'm doing. I'm getting things out of order. Okay, never mind. Continue.
Yeah. All right.
Because I was going to talk about her meeting Daff and the others.
You mean Daffodil?
Yeah.
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 Daffodil.
I'm just saying, introduces themselves as Daff.
Yeah.
But not the true name.
No.
Because that's not very hard.
No.
So. But yeah, so the encounter with the Colt that doesn't even have who's a blank flank,
mm-hmm.
wielding a terrifying, weapon.
Yeah,
it's just another example of how messed up this place is.
Mm-hmm. You did miss what led into this, which was the mirror.
What about the mirror?
The mirror she finds.
You're gonna have to.
Okay, so.
It's a long chapter. You're going to have to...
after this,
I've read it once.
She's going back home after Red Eye's speech. She hears a screaming, and she goes into this mirror maze, this glass and mirror maze.
Oh, yeah.
And she sees, who was it, Blood getting raped? One of the ponies she knew getting raped. And so she helps kill all the slavers, but they have other people incoming, so she has to run through the maze, and she comes across a mirror which shows her as a wild, manic raider covered in blood. It's not what she is right now. It's not a reflection of her as she stands. It's a reflection of something else, like an alternate view of who she is. And it just shocks the shit out of her. And she runs out, and that's when she keeps running and running through different areas, and then she sees the children.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it starts with that, because you have to remember the mirror.
I did have a thought for a moment about maybe that was leading into the little lamplight, but, just heavily armed children.
Yeah.
So, essentially, Pip gets cornered by an alicorn.
Yeah.
And in fact, seems to forget that alicorns can be invisible.
Yeah.
Seems like an important thing to remember when you're fighting alicorns.
Yeah, now you're understanding why they're so dangerous.
They're incredibly dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so it's a funny thing. We there's some comparisons to the super mutants, but there's also comparisons to...
Well, no. Nightkin from New Vegas.
Actually, that's true. I was just going to say some comparisons to Death Claws because there's a version of Death Claws that can go invisible.
Yeah,
but the
yeah,
Death
that's
Claws
only in
are the
FF4.
Devil Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the Hellhounds.
Hellhounds. Why do I keep calling them Devil Dogs? Hellhounds. They're Diamond Dogs, and they become Hellhounds.
Because I think Devil Dog was a better name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes. It doesn't matter. But you're right. Yeah, the Nightkin. I forgot about the Nightkin.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's from, worst Fallout 3.
And thus the Flame War was started anew. When Xerxes... Okay, I'm going to stop there.
Oh, great. I love that we take a 300 turn there. Somewhere Frank Miller's just jerking off in a corner like, yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you are.
Yes, but not the masturbatory version. Okay, so we're going to go into... the Alicorn uses the memory orb trick against Little Pip.
Little Pip, yeah, the trick she used against the Alicorns.
Mm-hmm. And so... Suddenly,
and so she slips into a memory.
yeah, I remember reading this, and my mind was like firing on all cylinders at 1,000,000 miles a minute, going, no, no, no.
You...
It's like the worst possible thing to happen.
It's just so dumb.
I know, and it's so tense too at the same time. It's great. And so we go into the memory orb, and it's Applejack, Fluttershy, and Pinkie Pie.
Well, at first it's just Applejack and Fluttershy.
From the perspective of Pinkie Pie.
And right, but we don't know that it's Pinkie Pie initially, except for the tinge of the feel of Mentats.
And the various senses about her, which is something interesting about the book. And this is thankfully coming back to the main purpose of why we're here. He doesn't know anything about Pinkie Sense. Nobody who didn't know this would know anything about Pinkie Sense. Pinkie Sense was an episode for the first season where it described that Pinkie Pie had the ability to understand and perceive things and events that were going to happen through
precognizance.
Through physical affects.
Yeah, I mentioned to you even before we started the episode, I said, so what, can Pinkie Pie see into the future? And you're like, yeah, we'll talk about it.
Not really, but she can get a sense that something is going to happen. If something falls out of the sky, if something's about to explode, if something's about to be revealed as a lie, she'll have a sensation that it will be that way.
Spidey sense.
Yeah, kind of.
Does she shoot web out of... Well, actually.
We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, all right.
No, there's no spider pony.
Okay, not yet. There's not a spider pony.
There's a bat pony.
That really. God.
Mirror-to-well.
Why would they do bat pony before spider pony? Much better story.
Okay, I'm not even going to start. I'm not going to start with this.
Spider pony does
because he is a very hardcore Marvel fan. So I'm sure all of you in the comments can go gush about your various things. I don't do that much comic books.
Don't use the term gush when there's this much rape in a chapter.
Gotta watch that out of my mouth.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's a good point. To your health, brother.
Okay, moving on. After we learn inside, Pinkie Pie alludes to the idea that she understands that Little Pip is watching her.
I don't know who Little Pip is, but... that's what she basically says.
Yeah, Little Pip is watching me, probably. Or she will be watching me.
But she gets a sense.
A burning hoof.
Yeah, burning, yeah.
Like I said, it's a sensation that's related to an event. Because it's based off of the, my knee is aching, so it'll rain tomorrow.
You're skipping over another thing. Fluttershy hits on Applejack again.
Yes, as a joke.
We're noticing a common theme here.
As a joke.
Yeah, well, I know, as a joke, but it's like...
A running gag.
Over and over and over again.
Yes.
A lesbian pony is the brunt of the joke.
Yes.
By the way, there's a long period at the beginning of this chapter that we totally both glazed over where Little Pip basically describes, her feelings and feelings for homage and the things they shared and the carnal things they shared.
Yeah.
It was a lot of exposition. I mean, it wasn't like, Rule 34, but...
Yeah.
Anyways, I figured we should mention it.
Lovey, 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 love.
Yep.
Okay.
So, anyways. And then we, Little Pip gets brought to Red Eyes.
Yeah. And Red Eye says, I'm a monster, aren't I? And she's like, yes. And he's like, we're not so different,
you and I. God damn it.
Which I must say, K-Cat, that is one thing. That line is so fucking cliche. That concept is so cliche.
I wonder if there is a term in My Little Pony that would be a pun that would be cliche, like a clopshay or a...
I feel like it would be stretch.
Cleané or something. I don't know. There's got to be something there.
That just sounds lewd.
You sound lewd.
Well, thank you.
You know what?
But no, I mean, it is. That is like Oh my god, he actually said it. Of course he did. Of course he did. Still great. It's just, let's see. They just have a little discussion about how he's the monster that he has to be because the wasteland demands that he be the monster and give up his principles for what's right.
And instead of killing Little Pip, he's feeling generous.
Yes, because you can't kill them immediately. You have to send them into the chamber with the angry sea bass.
Ultimately, I think Red Eye also sees Little Pip as an asset.
And, yep.
Why would you destroy an asset when you can push them into a scenario where they can prove their worth? The fact of the matter is, Little Pip understands why Red Eye is where he's at. I mean, he's charismatic. I mean, he's a strong earth pony, described as kind of orange-reddish in color.
I think it's just red.
Red.
Yeah, just red.
And with a cape.
Yeah.
And with one blue eye and one cybernetic red eye.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we know where the name comes
big
from.
old red eye. Yeah, there's a lot there.
Of course, had his cutie mark removed. So, blank.
There's a lot there when it comes to the relationship between how he feels about himself and how he feels about all that. So that'll be discussed later on. But yeah, no, he says, well, you're going to fight in the pits, and we're going to see if you can survive.
Yep.
Because you're such a good fighter, apparently.
Yeah.
And I guess what he's trying to do is he's trying to break her.
Yeah. Again, I think he looks at Little Pip as an asset.
Let me see. Strong, muscular, talks about the greater good, has some kind of mechanical part that allows him to survive, wants to see the main character broken, is a big guy.
Are you making a comparison to Bane? I sure hope Batman Senpai notices me.
Okay, so you go down. She listens to one audio recording that actually goes over the mirror that was used. That's the reason I wanted to make sure we covered that, is because the audio log is talking about the mirror and Rarity creating it through some magics that she got from somewhere. I mean, I don't know where they could have come from.
Perhaps it was the Black Book.
Bum, bum, bum.
I know. But what it does is it captures a piece of you.
Yeah, a snapshot of your soul.
We find out from the audio log that it was Twilight Sparkle who met with Rarity and they exchanged spells.
Yeah, because they just had, they have a little spell showing off. They have
and Twilight Sparkle was running her mind over things like, I can't imagine, Rarity has interesting magic, but this isn't based off of any spells that I can find.
Yeah, it's a weird different spell from somewhere else, and she can't find any books relating to it. So
I wonder where it came from.
No idea.
Yeah. So anyways, so the fighting begins, and it's like this weird side versus side round robin style.
Yeah.
The pit itself is booby trapped in all sorts of crazy ways. There's these like 50-gallon drums that are hanging above that all sorts of manner of awful can fall out of. Yeah,
some weapons, and then some mines, and then some actual, I can't remember whether it's taint or just like radioactive sludge.
The glass tornado was an interesting tactic.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, that's getting to the end, and finally the chapter ends with our friend Daff, who gave Little Pip quite the swift kick between the legs, facing off against a new challenger. New challenger approaches.
Zenith.
A zebra pony.
A zebra.
Not a pony, just a zebra. Sorry.
Just a zebra, which we have not seen yet in the story.
Other than flashbacks, but yes, in modern day, no zebras.
No zebras.
Must be a descendant of zebras, which means there's zebras.
Because that's not just a genetic mutation to just be a zebra one day. So I mean, yes, of course.
Hey man, on the inside, we're all zebras, brother.
So yeah, next episode we get to talk about the fight and Zenith, and I know all of you are actually looking very forward to that. So.
Are we going to get to actually? Well, I guess you can't tell me, but are we going to get to see some zebra magic?
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
honestly, because I think it happens. I can't remember whether it does or not.
That sums up Chapter 25. Now, Chris, I have a question. Are you ready? Is your body ready?
I don't know. I don't know if I've prepared my Angus.
Well, if you have adequately peppered your Angus, it's time for the Pony Pun of the Week! Oh! All right. Chris,
Robert.
The pony pun of the week is husband and bridle.
Husband and bridle.
Now, please tell me where on earth did you get this term? Is this from the show? Is it canonical?
No, it's not canonical. I just came up with it.
You, sir, are a master of shit.
Oh, God. Is that going to be like a little logo on the bottom of the screen now?
Go ahead and use husband and bridle in a sentence.
I now pronounce you husband and bridle. You may kiss the bridle?
I don't even know. Well, I have kinky. Wow.
And you're ignoring my first note from the episode, from the show notes.
What's that?
In which little Pip is
stripped
and put in a cage.
Caged, yeah.
I even put a little Lenny face in there for him.
Oh my gosh. It's too much. It's too much. All right, I think it's time for some listener questions. Once again, we have a listener question from the authoress herself, K-Cat. K-Cat says, this week's question, have you figured out what Canterlot ghouls are equivalent to in Fallout lore?
Yes, I have. But see, this is a problem, is you guys need to stop asking leading questions, because we both know, as soon as I say what it is, he'll know. Actually, I don't know if you will know. He may not, but I think he will, so I'm not going to say exactly what it is. Yes, I know what they are, but if I say, it's going to lead more into what happens later in the story. It has to be a fresh experience. Absolutely
So, there is a very particular ghoul who did join with a tree. No, so it's not that.
It's not Herbert. Unless she means Herbert, at which point, why would you think Herbert? What's wrong with you? Why would you do that?
I'm having a hard time thinking of other ghoul scenarios.
See, this is the problem, is that a lot of the stuff isn't revealed until later, exactly how he works. So, I'm holding off until later, but we'll bring it up as soon as it comes back into play.
I hate being in the dark. I feel like I'm the last one to know everything in this, but I guess that's kind of the nature of the show, that I am the last one to be into everything.
Sorry, I mean, that's just how it works.
You know, it takes a lot of self-restraint to not just pull up a wiki page.
You could look up fan fiction and you'd already know what's going on, I mean, but don't.
Well, thank you, K-Cat, for the question, even though apparently I'm going to remain in the dark until later in the story. All right, second question. Knock Lupus says, concerning our main cast, that being of Pip, Calamity, Velvet, and Steelhooves, how likely do you believe each one is to die by the end of the story, and what's their most likely cause of death? Really? Well,
apparently, I think what happened was we got a little bit angry that he asked the leading question. Because so many other people have asked the leading question, which would inevitably lead you to realize that Red Eye was the main antagonist. That he decided to do it again. Stop. It's not fun.
Obviously, every story has sacrifice.
Yeah. I mean, there is a little bit of plot armor that goes on. I'm gonna be honest. I will say. Okay.
Do you know?
I will say. Look. I'll say this.
Are you not gonna let me talk? Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, say what you're going to say.
Say your words. No, I don't fucking care. Go ahead.
You really seem like you care.
Say your thing. Go. I don't know. Go ahead.
I give up. Okay. I will say this. No deaths, but there are things worse than death.
I've thought from the beginning that Little Pip would sacrifice herself in some form.
Yeah.
You know.
No, there are various occasions. There are various occasions where it's like, and they don't die.
The Lone Wanderer, the Vault Dweller, the Courier. Oh, who were the first two?
That was the Vault Dweller.
The Vault Dweller.
And the Chosen.
The Chosen One. That's right. Yeah, the Chosen One was the one I couldn't remember. And then what did they call the Fallout 4?
They called him two things. One only
or
once.
her. Remember, you could be a woman.
I feel like canonically they're going to go back and call it a man again.
Nope, nobody plays the woman.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do, but still, canonically they keep going back and naming the main characters.
Piper and Kate.
You weren't the only one. Okay. No, but they called him the Sole Survivor, and then once, at least I think only once, Piper refers to you as a man out of time, which I thought was a much better title.
Yeah.
Man out of time is like, Yeah, somebody who just doesn't belong. That'd be great. That'd be wonderful. It's just a shame the story never actually went that direction. It just kind of like acted like you were normal in that world when you should have been freaking out at every corner, been like, I shopped there. That was my friend's house and it's gone. I mean, and then they ended up with nothing.
It bothered me in Fallout 4 that you had your character assert his feelings or her feelings looking at things. You had a voiced character.
Because it didn't follow through with the fact that the world space should have been so shocking that you would have been a sobbing mess by the end of it. Because think about it. Everyone you've ever known is out there dead. And you may go to where you were working, look inside, and there are your coworkers and friends as skeletons.
Yeah. That'd
be tragic. Your family? Gone. Everyone you've ever known. And the only connection you have left to this world, the only two people who you know may have survived.
A robot.
That's not a person.
Yeah, but he remembers you. Hey, robots are people too, okay? That's actually,
Railroad.
Wait a minute.
Okay, Railroad, okay.
That is the story. That's the whole crux of the story, is our sense people.
Regardless, he's not a synth, so he can go, shove himself up somebody's rear end.
It is funny people who instantly kill him when you watch playthroughs.
I love walking away, so he says, leaving so
soon!
It's just so hilariously
It's been 200 years, and he's trimming hedges that are dead.
And you come back, and he's just absolutely forlorn that you're leaving again.
I will say, what's great, though, is I love to take him and put him in, like, a crazy Sentinel body.
Oh, yeah.
With all sorts of modifications, and it's like, oh, Codsworth. The murder machine.
Oh, yeah, but no. The thing is, like, you're only left with the two connections to your old life. Your child and your spouse. Your spouse is murdered in front of you, so the only thing you have to hold on to is your child. I feel like if maybe they had gone with the route of the character constantly being in shock, that they would feel more... It would project the idea that you need to find your child
Better
more.
unlockable companion that they didn't do is Child Sean. Oh, sorry. Spoilers. Child Sean.
That's a year.
Synth Child Sean as a fightable companion with you.
Yeah. Child armor. Somebody already did that from Skyrim. They're like, wait, children are unkillable, so he just straps children to his body. I am immortal!
That's really fucked up. I'm imagining, like, children's faces.
We did that once in Crackdown. They released a DLC that had a rail gun, or a harpoon gun, that you could harpoon people to the side of a vehicle. So you could just harpoon a whole bunch of people to the outside of your vehicle.
Oh, man.
It would actually make it impregnable to bullets because the bullets wouldn't go through the people.
You're just reminding me how shitty Microsoft is. A great game that never had a PC port. Crackdown. Another great game that never had a PC port. The entire Halo series. The original Halo. The original Halo.
Halo 2.
But not any...
No, not any.
Not any beyond that.
No, Halo 2 did actually have.
Okay, and let me clarify too. Of those first games, they still charge a ridiculous amount for you to have them.
Yeah, which I don't think they care if you. I don't know, have out CE. I mean, that's just
right. But you understand what I mean.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and I'm not even one to say that. Oh, they're the greatest games of all time. Yeah, but you kind of sometimes want to go back and relive. You know.
Yeah, it's an experience to go through again. Halo 2 was a good game. There's a lot that you can complain about.
It's been 20 years, but I'm excited about online multiplayer for Super Mario 64.
He just doesn't get past it.
It's a great game.
You're just stuck in the past.
It's a great game.
Every single year, we hand you a Nintendo 64 and you scream like a child.
Well, it's either going to be that or Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
My N64 still works. If Nintendo and Bethesda were to merge, does that mean they would release Ocarina of Time on every platform? Oh, they have. Oh. Okay, so yeah, I think we've been going on long enough at this point. Any other housekeeping we need to do?
None that I know of.
By the way, thank you for all the submissions in regards to creepypastas.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to have to sort through them a little bit.
Yeah, a few of them.
Some of them are long form, which will be difficult.
Some of them are long, some of them are good, some of them are really bad, and then some of them are actually so well known. Like, one of the ones we're probably going to have him do is I'm going to have him play through the story of the Blanks. We're probably just going to do a live playthrough of him doing that.
I was going to say we've done some Let's Plays. It'd be interesting if we did some specifically My Little Pony Let's Plays.
Yep, you can play horse game. You can have you go through the Fall Equestria beta so far.
Sure, cool beans.
There is I forgot what that's called. The one where the Russian dev is doing. I can't remember what it's called.
Something with vodka, potato, vodka, borscht.
No, not Latvian.
American cigarettes.
No, that is Russia. That is Russia.
Track suits,
Adidas.
All right, you can always find us. If you're watching us, you already know. But if you're listening to the podcast, you can find us on YouTube at Crisco Brand Biscuits. You can also find our podcast page at thefollyofman.libsyn.com. If you are listening to the podcast, you can find us through Google Play, iTunes, Podbean, Podcast Addict. Take your pick. There's a million different flavors, but RSS feeds basically go everywhere. If you are on Twitter, we're trying to engage more with Twitter. You can find us at CriscoCast. I had an interesting action with a fan last week. I actually forgot to tell you about this. We were on there, and somebody had a post that they were sick. And I was like, oh, I hope you feel better. And they're like, I posted that 6 days ago. And I was like, oh, well, then I hope you're still sick so that my well wishes mean something.
Oh.
Anyways, we both use it, so you never know who's going to be engaging with it. But also, you can find us on Facebook at Crisco Industries.
Which we don't go to as much.
Yeah.
Neither of us actually
Well, I was
use
going to
that,
say,
so.
you never use Facebook.
No.
And I occasionally engage with the page.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, always very happy that you have tuned in once again. I don't got anything else to add. What about you?
No, really.
I don't know. You got
excited
your pony shit. We did our things. We had a drinks. We had some laughs. You had a good time. You didn't have to pay anything. It's good. Say hello to your mother for us.
I'm on break. It's a union break.
Yeah.
I thought you want to get back.
All right. For Chris, I'm Robert. Thanks again for tuning in to another harrowing episode of The Folly of Man. You can find us next week, same time, same place.
Same pony time, same pony place.
It's always gonna be ponies. It's always fucking ponies with you. You know what? Don't get me started.
It's not always fucking pony.
Oh god, it is occasionally.
all
Bye.
over,
Bye.
but the cry